Good evening and welcome to Peabody College's Google Chat for admitted students. We are very pleased that you're participating with us today. We're going to be talking live about our campus, about academics, Nashville, and any other questions that you may have. I'm Monique Robinson Nichols. I'm Associate Dean for Students and Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion here at Peabody College. And again, we are so glad that you're participating. We're hoping to answer as many questions as you have today. And if we can't get to your question, you can feel free to contact us. We'll give you the email address at the end of the time that we're with you. So we're going to get started with introductions. We'll start first with our faculty member who is participating with us today. Then each of the students will introduce themselves, and then we will move right into our question period.
Hi, I'm Andrea Capizzi. I am a professor in the Department of Special Ed. I am also on the Undergraduate Advisory Committee, so I work with faculty members, all the other directors of undergraduate study from all the other Peabody departments. And I'm happy to be here, and congratulations to all of you on your acceptance.
And now we'll have our students who are participating introduce themselves.
My name's Becca. I'm a freshman in Peabody. I'm studying human and organizational development, probably minoring in corporate strategies, and I'm from Boston.
I'm Lucia Vigil. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm also a freshman studying human and organizational development, and I'm also majoring in Spanish.
I'm Marty. I'm a sophomore studying special education, and I'm from Chicago.
I'm Connor. I'm also a freshman studying human and organizational development, and I'm planning on doing a double minor in economics and corporate strategy, and I'm from a suburb of Chicago.
So now you know a little bit about us, and we are really excited to answer any questions that you might have. So please feel free to start posing your questions.
So maybe while we're waiting for some questions, you guys can tell us a little bit about, looking back on your, final year of high school when you were a senior in the same boat as all of these admitted students. How did you make your final college choice? Was there anything that you could suggest, or any comments that you'd like to give to the students or the seniors out there that are listening in?
I can talk to that. So I actually took a gap year. So I was a senior in high school 2 years ago, and it was actually just this week that I was deciding. I applied to 12 schools. I was regular decision. I kind of hated my college process. It was very exhausting. And when it came time for my college choices, my main choices that I was deciding between were here and WashU and Michigan. And I visited all three, and on the flight down to Vanderbilt, again, 2 years ago this week, I looked over to my dad and I said, "Why are we going? We both know that I'm going to WashU. Why are we on this plane right now? Like, this is such a waste of our time." And I was set on WashU. It had been my dream school for a long time. I'd visited again. I liked it. It was great. I was all set. And I got here, and here I am. I really just fell in love with it when I was here. There were a few things. First of all, it's just like this gut feeling that sounds really cliche, and I didn't really believe it was true, but it really did happen. I met with a Peabody professor who I was meeting with someone else, and he walked by and he said, "Come to lunch with me, and then you can sit in on my class." And so he took me to lunch in Commons, and we just had this conversation that I was like, these are the professors I want. This is what I want to be learning about. And human and organizational development was a really big pull for me. It was a really unique major that I couldn't find elsewhere. And I'm so, so happy with my decision. I know I would have been happy otherwise, but I'm really, really happy that I chose here. No regret. at all.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Becca said. I think, aside from the amazing academics that like really brought me here, and specifically my major, somebody once recommended to me when I was thinking about all the different colleges that I could be going to, that what you pick as an 18-year-old, you're going to be living in that same place as like a 21 or 22-year-old. And I think Nashville, like Vanderbilt's in Nashville, and it's the perfect city to do that. Freshman year, I really spent a lot of my time on campus. There was always something to do. But now that I'm a sophomore, I've like branched out a little bit more. And I think the seniors that I know, they still love it in Nashville. So you're not in this little hole. You have an entire city to explore, but you're still in the safe boundaries of a really nice campus. So I think that was really unique to Vanderbilt for me.
When I was looking at colleges, I really wanted somewhere that was academic focused and I could engage in intellectual conversations with my classmates outside of class and not be called a nerd, but really just have interesting conversations about whatever I was learning in class. But I also wanted somewhere where I could go and have really silly conversations about The Bachelor or about something silly that week and not be looked at as not intellectual enough. And I thought that Vanderbilt was the perfect balance between the two, perfect balance between having a lot of studying during the week and learning a lot in class, and then having a lot of fun on the weekends and going to concerts in Nashville and going out to eat with your friends.
And I think that's really what Vanderbilt does best, like especially compared to our other like academically competitive schools, is that we have a lot more balance between not even just balance between your school life and your social life, but also like cohesion between them, and that there is a lot of crossover. Like the coolest thing for me first semester, I remember it was like the first week of school, and I went out with my friends and we got back late at night and like we were just talking about our classes, and I was like, you don't think I'm nerdy because I'm like telling you that I'm learning interesting things, and that was really a big moment for me that I knew.
Yeah, another thing on the balance is definitely one of the main reasons I chose to come here, because all the good things that big schools have, we have here too. But it's such a smaller school, it's such a closer environment that you don't feel like you're like drowned out. But we still have, we have SEC sports teams, so if you're interested in sports, you can go there. If you like music, we're in Nashville. So it still has everything that a bigger school would have, but it's such a better, like, closer environment because there's only 7,000 of us.
Yeah.
So speak a little bit about the academics. You all have mentioned the rigor, but talk about your faculty interactions in or outside of the classroom.
I'll go ahead. I'm in the special ed major, and it's a really small major. We know everyone in our cohort is what we call it the year that we travel with. And because it's so small, like your professors know you first semester like right away, and you get to continue with them. And that's really unique, not only to the special education program, but I think Peabody in general. It's a small college within Vanderbilt, and everyone that I've talked to, like, it's so easy to make a connection with a professor. And even some professors that I had first semester that I don't have anymore, I see them passing by on campus and they'll say hi, and it's nice because they have your back academically, but if you ever like wanted to go for them for like a career thing or even just like a social thing, they know you well enough and they know you as a student that they're there for you. And I knew especially like, you're far from home, and it's really nice sometimes to have that like older like mother or fatherly figure to like say like take time and take care of yourself. Academics are important, but you're important too, and like to do that. So Vanderbilt's the place to go for professors, for sure.
I
Yeah.
would agree with, oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with that. I've had great experiences with the professors here. I'm taking fundamentals of management right now, and I had a business idea, and so I reached out to my professor, and we went to Starbucks together and talked about it for like 2 hours. And I mean, I don't know, I don't go to other schools, but I doubt there are many schools where professors would take that much time out of their day to do something that's completely unrelated to what I mean, it's related to what they're teaching me, but it's not like going to help my grade or anything. And then I also met with another teacher when I was torn about which minor I wanted to do and which would be better off for my career. And we talked about it, and he said, if you want to do this, this one would be better. But if you want to go into this one would be better. And so they're really here for you both in and out of the classroom.
Yeah, I'd say also that not only like these small classes you develop relationships with your teachers because you do, but also even the big classes. And like as a freshman, I am taking some courses that have like a lot of students. I have two courses this semester that are pretty big, and same with last semester. And even those professors are there to get to know you. It takes a little bit more effort on your part. Like I've had to seek out and go to office hours, and I usually sit towards the front of the room and little things like that, but they want to get to know you, and it's not going to happen as easily without effort, but if you put in a little bit of effort, they really want you to do that, and they want to be there for you and build those relationships.
I would completely agree with Becca. Last semester, I was in a lecture of about 100 people, and I didn't know the professor that well. And I have the same lecture class this semester, and this semester I made the goal to get to know this professor. So I emailed him one day and just said, hey, I'm learning about this thing in a different class that I think about applies to your class. Can I come talk to you about it in your office hours? And he emailed me back immediately and was like, oh my gosh, yes, please come in. So I go to his office hours, and I'm talking to him for like an hour, not even about our class, but he's so interested in what I'm saying, and he ended up having me send him the paper that I was writing about the subject and like asked me if he thought he should incorporate it into the class next year, and it was really, really cool just to see how interested he was in what I had to say, even though he wasn't, it didn't particularly pertain to our relationship within the classroom.
So I see right now we don't have any questions. If you have a question, please feel free to use your chat area to put your question in, and we will make sure that we answer it. And while we are waiting, can you all talk about, Nashville is the it city right now, or one of the it cities. What's your favorite thing to do off campus?
Eat. I eat so much. It is so bad. I wish I didn't go to school here. I go out to eat so much. I'm spending so much money. I'm eating so much. Like, it's real. There is just so much food. And, like, I have a restaurant list, and I'm not even halfway through it. Like, all I do is eat.
That's definitely true. There's so many restaurant lists circulating, and you get to talk to your friends about coffee shops and everything. I'm going to go with a different route. I love eating, but this weekend it's really much nicer here than it is in Chicago, where I'm from, and I got to go on a hike, and it was awesome because, like, really it's 15 minutes away, and you're, like, in the middle of nowhere in a forest with, like, your friends, just not thinking about anything because it's so beautiful. So that's really cool too.
I also hike this weekend. I like to do that too.
Mine would be concerts. So I'm only a freshman, and I've been to 10 concerts here already, and half of those have been free. A few of them have been on campus, a few of them have not been on campus, even a few of the free ones were not on campus. I know every summer Nashville has a series called not Lights on the Lawn, Live on the Green. And that's a free concert series downtown. And so one of them this summer was Passion Pit, and like half of Vanderbilt went to this free concert downtown. Very awesome music scene.
Anyone else want to chime in about Nashville? Otherwise, we've talked a little bit about what goes on off campus, so apparently a lot of eating and a lot of music. But many of you are first year students, and we have a sophomore as well. Thinking back to move in and the whole Commons experience, what do you think makes that unique? What is the best part of it, and what will you miss for those of you that are first year students when you go on to main campus?
Most of my closest friends, especially first semester and also this semester, are girls I met on my floor, my roommate, and then about six other girls on my floor who live like right across from me. And I think that in general it's really unique the way it's you choose your roommate, but it's random your floor, and all freshmen are living together. I love it. I think it's a really good way to get to know the other freshmen without having upperclassmen around as much. There are upperclassmen hanging around Commons Center, but it's nice that you have like everyone living on Commons is a freshman. I also have a great RA. She and I are really, really close, and like that's been a really big impact on my freshman year.
Yeah, another thing that I'm gonna miss is I think that Vanderbilt does a really good job when we first get here, the first like month or so of really making sure that we get to know each other. Like we have floor meetings and we have visions, and you really meet like a ton of people. It's almost like overwhelming in the first few weeks, but it's really nice. And then, like there are people in my visions group who I don't talk to much, but when I see them around, I still say hey, and like we talk for a minute or two. And another really nice thing that about everybody living on commons is when I'm walking to class or when I'm walking back from a class, everybody lives on this area, so we're all taking the same walkway. And so every time you like see 10 of your friends just like in a 5-minute walk, and it's just like a really nice feeling.
I would agree that everyone in the same area means that I run into people all the time that I otherwise probably wouldn't run into, and I've just made friendships that way, just from all of the freshmen being on the same area. And I think it really just helps you to bond with your class and have an experience that you guys can talk about 4 years later.
Marty, as a sophomore, how's that different, and how's that transition been over to, big kid campus? So.
Yeah, so everything that they said was really true. But a lot of the things that like we have freshman year, you can choose to carry over for your sophomore year. What's really great about sophomore year is that you do get a little more say with your floor. So you can pick your roommate, and then you can pick people on your floor. And so sure enough, like me and my roommate are living right next to a girl that we lived next to freshman year also because we stayed friends. So that's really, really great. And Visions, which is our freshman like orientation program that stays with the entire first semester. Like I just planned an event with one of my Visions friends because we kept that relationship. So I think, I don't know, like convenient for being on main campus too is that everything, well not everything, but like there's more, the Greek houses are closer on main campus, but as a Peabody student, I totally miss Commons because 8 a.m. seem much earlier when you have to take that walk from main campus all the way to Commons. It's not that long. It's like a 10-minute walk, but I don't know. I miss Commons, and the food's really good at Commons. So.
Oh, academic question. We have a question. Monique, you want to read it?
How hard is it to add a second major or minor outside of Peabody?
So I can answer that. It's not hard at all, actually. What we tell all of our advisees as faculty members is to plan early. And the nice thing is that you have time to dabble a little bit and to try out different majors and different minors. And with Peabody, you can definitely take your primary major in the Peabody school and then take a major in arts and science or in Blair School of Music or whatever. So it really, you can choose anything you might want to choose. Something that's a little different with Peabody students than the arts and science students or the engineering students is that we have a different advising system. So our advising isn't centralized. You actually get an advisor that's within your primary department, and that advisor gets to know you very well and can help you answer those questions. And I'm seeing Marty back there, with as far as advising and things like that go. She's one of our special ed students, and so she can probably tell you a lot about the fact that we see our advisees at least twice a year, once per semester, and we go through courses and talk about the classes that you should sign up for and what might be a good option depending upon, like as Connor mentioned, what your interests are, what would be a good minor or second major or double minor or whatever. But most of us as advisees see our advisees multiple times per semester. They'll pop into our office, or they'll be in our classes, or they'll just shoot us emails to ask various questions about what their interests, what type of classes they should take. This time of year we get a lot of questions about summer work or internships that they might want to do or experiences. Sometimes we get students who ask us about research opportunities and what might be a good option. So I kind of gave you more than you wanted probably, but just to give you a sense, it's very feasible, but it just takes a lot of communication.
So I'm a double major in human organizational development in Peabody and then Spanish in the College of Arts and Science, and I found it completely manageable, not even a thought that crosses my mind. When you're registering for classes, all the classes are in one book. online. I don't know how else to say that. And so I can type in Spanish and add that to my schedule, and then type in human and organizational development and add that to my schedule. And when I wasn't really sure if I wanted to add Spanish as a major, I was just taking a Spanish class, and it counted towards my liberal core requirements for human and organizational development. So even if I decided not to double major in Spanish, it still wouldn't have been a waste of a class, which is really nice. And now it's especially not a waste of a class.
And when you choose a second major, you actually get an advisor in that other major area as well. So, for example, HOD and Spanish, she'll have an advisor or a person that she can talk to in both of those areas to make sure that she's signed up for the correct classes.
And Professor Capizzi, could you talk a little bit about our education majors and the fact that many of them have second majors?
Yes. So the vast majority of our education majors, either the elementary education, early childhood education, special education, or of course the secondary education majors, all have second majors. In the elementary program and the secondary ed program and the early childhood program, the state of Tennessee, which does our licensure, requires a second major. But the vast majority of our special ed majors also will pick up a second major. And if they don't pick up a second major, sometimes they'll do other minors, or they'll pursue lots of different areas of interest. So it's very feasible, and that's more the norm to have a second major than not to have a second major. But that being said, you don't have to have two majors to be at Vanderbilt. I think that some students come in and think, oh, all my friends are choosing two majors or doing a major and 3 minors or whatever. You don't have to do that at Vanderbilt. One of the nice things is that the liberal core experience requires you to take classes in multiple areas. And so I have had students, and I have the occasional student who says, I don't want a second major. I know what I want to do. And instead they take advantage of a lot of other opportunities that are going on campus, and they're going abroad, or they're just sort of broadening their interests kind of in more of a way of choosing classes and putting them together in a fashion that makes them interesting. Marty, you're doing something like that, right?
So I started off as a special ed major, and then at the end of second semester freshman year, I wanted to add on child development, not because I really cared about it, but I was taking really interesting classes, and I needed a direction type of thing. I'm like a very type A person, so I needed to narrow down my classes, and I was interested in the classes that would fulfill that major. Then I also wanted to study abroad, and I came first semester, sophomore year, and I'm talking with my advisor, and we're doing the hours, and it's feasible for me to do a double major and go abroad, but she also told me that I could just drop it to a minor if I decide I want to do that and not really have to take so many hours to push everything in. And so I think, again, that speaks to the advising system here that, it's really nice. They're totally willing to work with your particular wants and interests and reassure you that what you're doing is okay, and you'll still graduate, and you're still going to be, respected in the professional community. And I don't know, yeah, it's been really good.
I have to go. I have a team meeting to get to for a project, but thank you for letting me join on, and I wish everyone luck in their decisions.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Bye.
As we are approaching the end of the spring semester and you reflect back over this year and for Marty last year as well, what's something you've experienced at Vanderbilt that you never thought you never imagined that you would experience? Something that's expanded you, that you grew, something you tried you never thought you'd enjoy? Or maybe something you thought you really would enjoy and you're like, no, not so much.
This isn't so unexpected, but I'm Jewish. I'm pretty involved in Jewish life here, and I went just little things like this. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I don't know what the weeks are, I went to church on Easter, not on Easter, the week after Easter. But I have a bunch of friends who were going to church on a Sunday morning, and I went with them. And I've been to church before, but I went with them in Nashville, and church here is very different than church in Boston. But it's little things like that's a lot of throughout the year. There's a lot of small things like that aren't life-changing, little moments, but there's a lot of opportunities to really experience a lot of things. I've brought a lot of my non-Jewish friends to Jewish things, and that's always here, and to just experience things that aren't part of what you grew up with.
That this past weekend was Holi, which is a Hindu, I think it's a Hindu traditional like color festival. I'm really sorry, I'm not totally sure. My friends and I definitely went for the experience, and it was just really cool because it's open to the entire Vanderbilt community for free. You know, you swipe your Commodore card, and we went in, and it's just throwing colored chalk at each other and getting some really great pictures and having fun. And it's something that a lot of I don't know, I would never have done really anytime unless I got that Facebook event from somebody. But it was really fun. And again, like, I guess not super life changing, but a new opportunity that I wouldn't have elsewise.
I think for me, a little bit different. I came in here as an HOD major, but also thinking I was going to do some type of STEM major. My dad has always told me that like I would be a great engineer. So I was like, oh, I should be an engineer. And I started signing up for the various STEM classes and then had them in my schedule and realized I was dreading taking these classes and that clearly STEM was therefore not for me. And so it really just helped switch my focus for my studies and for after college.
Well, we are nearing the end of our time, and if you have other questions, you can feel free to contact myself. The email address that you can contact is Monique, MONIQUE Robinson, ROBINSON hyphen Nichols, NICHOLS at Vanderbilt.edu. Feel free to send me any questions that you might have, and I will get the answer back to you. I really want to thank my pals that you heard today are part of the I'm sorry, there's an echo. Okay, okay. You're the only one that cares. The students that participated today are part of the program, and they help our office with admission and with first year. So they're an integral part of my office. I really appreciate you all coming out and I know it's the end of the classes as well as exams. I know your time is really valuable. I appreciate it. I also appreciate Professor Capiz, who is in the special education department, coming today to share with you her experiences as a faculty member. And one thing that I want you all to really pay attention to, she really does know Marty very well.
I'll see her tomorrow in class.
Right. Right. So we hope that you will select Vanderbilt and Peabody as your final choice, and hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.